Let's analyze this. So, there have been rumors and reports over the last week or so that the legit boss, former four-time Raw Women's Champion, former NXT Women's Champion, former WWE Women's Tag Team Champion, the legit boss SASHA Banks has been attempting to get a release from WWE. It's still a rumor. I consider it a rumor because there's been no definitive proof that it's real, that it's really happening. Sasha, as far as I'm concerned, has given us no valid information to verify that sentiment, that rumor, if you will. And yeah, how I feel about the whole situation, it's unfortunate because she is one of, if not the most talented female wrestlers, not just in WWE, but in the entire world, and has been for a long time. My only issue with her, of course, and I've stated this in numerous other videos, that to me she is like the pro wrestling version of Russell Westbrook. Let me explain why, for those of you who didn't catch my explanation in previous videos. She has a motor beyond belief. Probably has one of the best motors that I've ever seen out of any athlete. Both of them. Both of them. They go all out every night. And they put in their absolute best every night. But they tend to do too much. Too much to the point where it can hurt themselves or those around them. Sasha has a style of work in the ring that is not conducive to longevity. And people have tried to defend the mistakes or the botches, if you will, in some of her matches. Some people try to defend her and state that, hey, people botch, it happens. And that's correct. I'm not one to really harp on wrestlers botching because it happens. When you're on the road 200, 300 plus days a year and you're wrestling, 3, 4, sometimes 5 nights a week, you're going to tend to fuck up at sometimes. It's bound to happen. It's literally impossible to avoid it. Of course, unless you're Bret Hart, but Bret Hart was just on a whole nother level that cannot be compared. But you're going to fuck up. It happens. It happens in any sport that you participate in. It happens in any field of endeavor that you work in. It's bound to happen. Nobody's perfect. We're all human. That's what makes us human. But number one, she tends to do it often, way too often for a so-called elite level wrestler. Number two, like I said, her style is not conducive to longevity. And number three, I can't fully blame her because it is her momentum. It's issues with her momentum. When she's doing a dive, she wants to really extend, but she ends up extending a little bit too much. She loses control of her momentum, and that momentum shifts, which it turns her body. But she can control it. She can't control it at the moment, but she has the option and the availability to control it. She can, put on a little bit more muscle. Now, before you get all crazy with me, this is not me being superstar Billy Graham telling Kofi that he needs to take steroids. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Sasha needs to get jacked to the freaking gills. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying she needs to put a little bit more weight on her body. That way she can control her momentum. Think about it. She has to be one of, if not the lightest and smallest women's wrestlers in the company. And when you're that light, it's hard to control your momentum. If I throw, if I throw a remote control. And, a standard, typical remote control. If I throw it, even if I throw it slightly, like let's say I'm not going to launch it like a rocket or a football. I'm just going to throw it slightly, just a slight throw. It's going to go far. And it might go even farther than I expected it to. Not because the way in which I throw it or the distance that which I aim for to throw it. Not necessarily because of that, but because it's light. So when something is light, it's a lot harder to control when you throw it. Now, if I were to take a book bag that had 2 machine guns in it, 2 heavy machine guns in it, and I throw the bag, no matter how hard that I use my arm, no matter what strength I put into throwing it, I could throw it like a football spiral. It's not going to go far because the weight controls its own momentum. I don't control its momentum. You understand what I'm saying? So Sasha, being in the light frame that she is, she can't control her momentum. Only way she can control it is to either put on weight or stop doing the move. And by the move, I mean the suicide dive. And I get it. Ironically, it's called a suicide dive. But it's not literal, Sasha. So you might want to stop doing it. But anyway, Whatculture Wrestling recently did a video on this discussion. Specifically, Simon Miller did another one of his Y series episodes, stating his beliefs and opinions on why Sasha Banks tried to quit the WWE. Let's see what he has to say. Before he continues, let me just say real quick, I understand if this is legitimate, if she really is frustrated. I understand it completely. According to certain sources that I've read, apparently Vince and Creative, I don't want to say made a promise, but they essentially told Sasha and Bayley that they would hold the tag titles until May. And it's still April, and they're no longer the champs. They lost them at WrestleMania in that very strange, very disappointing, what was it, Fatal 4-Way Tag match? Yes, that Fatal 4-Way Tag match at WrestleMania 35. They lost them to the Iconics. So I'd understand that, it seems as if Vince doesn't trust Sasha for whatever reason. I like to think that the style in which she wrestles could be a valid argument as to why he doesn't trust Sasha. Look, fact of the matter is that as a professional wrestler, you can do certain things and you can go all out without going all out to the point where you almost hurt yourself. The best and biggest example I could think of is Dean Ambrose. Look at his style, or at least look at his style when he was a little bit younger, right? And when he was a little bit more agile and before he got hurt. Dean wrestled a crazy-ass style. But it took him years before he actually got hurt. Why is that? Because Dean knew how to maximize for effect and for putting on a great match, but he also knew how to reel it back for longevity purposes. You could tell that Dean wants to wrestle for a long time. Now, in terms of him leaving the WWE right now, whether he will retire for a little bit or go to another promotion, that's up for debate. I'll discuss that in another video. But Dean is the perfect example of someone who knows how to maximize but also reel it back at times. Most professional wrestlers, they want to have longevity in the sport. And the best way to have that longevity is to be smarter about what you do on a day-to-day basis, monitoring your movements, your body, taking care of it, your energy on a day-to-day basis. That's all I'm pointing out. I like Sasha, but her matches, they don't always pull me in because she can be real reckless, and it hurts her when she is reckless as she is. But like I said in a previous video, this is just the beginning. Once she gets into her 30s, she's going to be a lot smarter about everything, about every aspect of wrestling. Because when you get into your 30s, that's when you come into your mental prime. That's when you get a greater understanding of what you do and your body. That's fucked up that they didn't find out till the day of WrestleMania. And Stephanie McMahon wants to still tell us that all of the storylines and matches are prepped months in advance. That's complete bullshit. That hasn't been true. Honestly, to me, that hasn't been true since, I don't know, the late 90s or late 80s. I mean, not the late 90s, the early 90s, late 80s. That was the last time where WWE storylines were actually prepared in advance. I want to know proof because I saw some of Sasha's tweets and it didn't give me anything regarding her wanting to depart from the company. It's very disappointing. Bailey and Sasha were both on NXT when they were tag champs and stated that they would defend it across all the brands against any team, and then they ended up not being able to do that. It's real fucked up. I didn't even know they were following each other. Don't they still have heat against each other? Could have sworn they still don't like each other at all, professionally or personally. I'm glad she wasn't on that show. Not that I don't like Wendy Williams, but Wendy Williams, seriously? I don't know. I'm not into her. I find her to be annoying. I don't care about her show like that. And yeah, yeah. We didn't miss out on anything by not seeing Sasha on Wendy Williams show, in my view. This is all bullshit rhetoric. She basically is just saying, "Damn it, I want to be booked better." I mean, let's cut the bullshit for real. Let's cut the bullshit. She wants to be booked better. That's it. I don't know what this long speech is all about. It hasn't. It's ridiculous. How about you tell Creative that, Sasha, instead of tweeting about it? And, you know, there's always this, narrative, which it's 50-50. Sometimes, depending on who Vince likes, he will take it, and then a lot of times he'll be upset about it. But isn't the saying always that if you go to Vince and tell him and you give him ideas and you give him things to run with and you keep coming at him with ideas and ideas and ideas and just telling him what you want, telling him what you can contribute to the company, to the storylines, to the matches, to the shows. If you keep coming at him, he will reward you. Now, is it always true? No, it's not. But at times it could be, and I think Sasha is a big enough star to be able to have that pull. She should be. If she doesn't, that's ridiculous. If she does, she should use it instead of tweeting whatever this bullshit is to cover it up. Wait, Simon. They pull facts out of their ass and pretend it's true. That's not that doesn't make any sense. You mean they pull rumors or they pull opinions out of their ass and try to make it factual and try to make it true. There's no such thing as pulling facts out of your ass and trying to make it a fact. If it's a fact, it's a fact. A fact is something that can't be debated. It can't be argued. It's full of empirical data. That's what a fact is. No doubt about it. Before Simon finishes, let me just say real quick. Somebody posted on Twitter a very good post. I don't have it on me right now, and I can't read it verbatim. But someone wrote something real interesting that caught my attention earlier tonight, and they said, uh, they said something to the degree of, "I don't understand why people constantly shit on WWE um, from a business perspective, because they're business people. Vince is a businessman. All businessmen are cutthroat and sleazy and can do shitty, questionable things. All of them do it. And I'm gonna add my opinion about it on top of that. They all do it. All business people are cutthroat and are sleazy. They may not do it all the time, or even as frequently as Vince at times does it, but that is a fact. There's no such thing as doing things the right way 100% in terms of when you're a part of a business. Because business is business. It's not personal. You understand what I'm saying? It's not personal. So whatever is done in business, it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. This is why wrestlers can't have massive inflated egos. Wrestlers who have massive inflated egos, they're never given their just due for their talents. Um, they're never treated on a certain great level because, dude, it's a business. It's nothing personal. So you have to take your issues out of it. You have to take whatever ego you have out of it for the betterment of the business. That's a fact. But yeah, in all businesses, there are gonna be cutthroat things. A lot of questionable shit is gonna be done. That's why I said in one of my previous videos that if you have a problem with literally everything that the WWE does and says, then how about you apply for a job with them? If you want to make things better, if you want a vision that you see coming true to actually come true, how about you call up Stanford, email them, send them a resume and a cover letter and recommendation and all that shit. Send them that instead of bitching about it all day on social media. You know, the company is not perfect and they're going to do some shitty stuff, and I'm going to address it too. I'm going to address it too with their right there with you, excuse me. But I'm not going to harp on it. I'm not going to harp on it for months and months and years and just tweet about it every day. WWE's trash every day. Come on, man. That's not productive. That's not productive. Just going to say they don't trust her. And whatever the reason is that they don't trust her, only WWE and Sasha Banks know. The rest of us, we do not know. I would say let it play out and see what happens. A lot of times, WWE, they have good reasons not to trust people as a top level star that can carry the company. I wonder what if Bayley would have been able to main event WrestleMania and not her. Breaks her heart, but you can't be happy for Becky and Charlotte, your two other friends, two other members of the Four Horsewomen. You can't be happy for them. I don't know. I'm just saying. Maybe she is happy for them, but by that statement, doesn't seem like she's happy for them. Because you wouldn't be crushed. You would take it as in, if one of us does it, we all did it. You would take it as that. Especially since they're supposed to be your quote-unquote best friends. Well, let's be honest, she was hurt for at least half of those reigns. But I will admit, the Mick Foley title reigns, the Mick Foley-esque title reigns, they have been dumb. I'll admit that one. Even I questioned it when it all went down. At least they had a title defense. Let me just say real quick. When she was in NXT, she wasn't as reckless. Food for thought. Yeah, but Simon, the thing is that if she's aware of these fuck ups, she would literally do everything in her power to prevent them. When you almost land on your head more than one occasion from a simple suicide dive, one of the simplest moves in wrestling to do. When you almost land on your head multiple times from a suicide dive, you should immediately be thinking to yourself, I should probably stop doing the suicide dive. That's common sense. If you do something and it keeps failing, what's the definition of insanity, Simon? Doing something over and over expecting a different result, right? So why would Sasha be insane to expect a different result when we get the same stuff? When we get the same issue every time? Now the springboard slips, that's one thing. That's something else. People lose their balance. It happens. I get it. It's happened to me. It's happened to me before. It's happened to everyone. But come on now, a suicide dive. There's no way you can consistently fuck that move up. No way. I'm just saying. Either put on weight or stop doing the move. Cesaro did. You don't see Cesaro doing the suicide dive anymore because he almost broke his neck last time he did it. So he said to himself, okay, I'm going to stop doing it. And plus, he don't need to be doing it anyway. He's just too big to do it. He's a heavyweight. I mean, if they want to leave, they can leave. That's how I feel about it. Because everyone is replaceable. Everyone is replaceable. No one is the end-all, be-all of anything. You can be replaced. I don't care who you are. Maybe you won't have the same impact as your predecessor, but you can be replaced. I don't care who you are. Any one of us can be replaced. So no one is the end-all, be-all of anything, especially in sports. Enough about AEW. Enough about it. If I hear one more thing about AEW, I am not going to watch their Double or Nothing event. And I want to. But people are really making me not want to, to be honest. I'm tired of AEW already. And they haven't even had their first show. And I'm already sick of it. Because they've been overhyped. I get it. You're excited about a new wrestling organization coming up, even though we already have 200 other wrestling organizations out there that are easily accessible. But I get the excitement, but come on now. They haven't done their first show yet. Let's wait and see what happens. And I don't want to hear money, 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 because Ted Turner had a lot of money and look what happened to WCW. Just saying. Agreed, Simon. But anyway, that's it for this video. Just wanted to come on here real quick and give my little thoughts, my little 2 cents on the whole situation with Sasha Banks. She should be booked better. I'm not going to disagree on that. It's strange, but the company obviously doesn't trust her, at least at the moment. And in many ways, I can see why. You cut Alexa Bliss's title reigns in half, or even take them all out, put them on Sasha, you got a happier Sasha Banks. You got a happier Sasha Banks fan base. So I'm out.